How can you lose body fat and gain lean muscle in 12 weeks? Now, given the fact you've searched or clicked or landed on this video one way, shape or form, you're probably dealing with that kind of skinny fat physique, which is a little bit more of a tricky physique to fix. Essentially, you have a lack of muscle, but you want to gain muscle, but you can't really go onto a bulk because then you'll probably gain some body fat that you don't like. But if you go straight on a cut and diet down, you'll probably get skinnier, and it might take you even longer to reach your goals, which is why fixing the whole skinny fat physique is a little bit more challenging than just losing some body fat or just going on a straight up bulk. And for me personally, I've only ever been skinny fat once, and it was definitely where I felt the most uncomfortable because my t-shirts would show my belly, the sleeves weren't hugging, and I kind of just did not feel my best. I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel very strong or masculine. So how do we fix this issue as quickly as possible? Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not about that whole clickbait bullshit life. Can you lose body fat and gain muscle in 12 weeks? Yes. But it depends. I've been coaching skinny fat men to lose body fat and gain muscle over the past 5 years, and I've helped well over 100 men do so. And the ones that get crazy transformations in 12 weeks, there's a few things that they do differently to the ones that don't succeed. Let's address the elephant in the room as well. It depends on your starting point. If you're starting with a lot more fat than someone else, it might take you longer than 12 weeks to get to your desired result. If you've been training for a very long time and you've kind of already had your newbie gains, it will also take you a lot longer than 12 weeks. I don't like to be that person that goes around saying, oh, 6-second abs, 2-week fucking biceps, because it doesn't really exist. However, you can achieve insane results within 3 months if things are done properly and consistently. I'm going to put up a few examples over here, wherever on the screen, of clients of mine that have managed to lose their belly fat, managed to sort of bring in more details around their abs, bring up their arms, chest and shoulders a little bit. Some of them are actually within 11 weeks, but let's just assume they're all 12 weeks for right now. And for those clients that it's taken a little bit longer, some of these guys around here, it may have taken over a year. But either way, within 12 weeks to 12 months, you can achieve a life-changing transformation if you followed the steps properly. So let's get straight into it. If you want to lose body fat and gain muscle, you're better off starting with a recomposition. Now, without that sounding confusing or complicated, it is essentially a cut. Instead of going for a massive calorie deficit that you just jump straight into where you're going to lose muscle and lose energy and strength, we start with a smaller deficit and adjust it as and when needed. This means instead of losing 2-3 pounds on the scales, which could be fat and muscle, you'll be more likely to retain muscle and have more energy in the gym to perform and exercise to a high standard and have better recovery, all whilst still being in a calorie deficit. So you're far more likely to lose body fat and keep a lot more of your muscle. You'll prevent going catabolic, essentially. Then we pair that with a workout routine that's going to focus predominantly on retaining and potentially gaining strength, so you don't lose as much size and muscle whilst you're training. What a lot of men do is they just go, right, I need to lose body fat, let's get on the treadmill, eat the salads, drop the calories down, fuck carbs, whatever, right? And then they do it for a couple of weeks because they still got residual glycogen in their muscles, they got energy, and then 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe even less, they run out of energy, they crash and they binge and feel like shit, or the body just starts to, you know, slowly shut down and say, holy shit, we need a pizza or something. It's just not sustainable, not healthy, and a lot of times you will just lose muscle. So you're better off starting with a very small calorie deficit, you know, 200, 300, 400, 500 calories below your maintenance. You want to track your calories to make sure that's all correct and do frequent weigh-ins to monitor that and make adjustments. I do this every single week with my clients. They track everything every single day throughout the whole week, and then we review it each week to make sure they're on track. That way we can make adjustments. And that's one of the reasons they achieve the result within the 12 weeks. We're not faffing around, we're not guessing, we're not waiting, we're constantly reviewing and adjusting so we can move forward a lot faster. You're probably going, well, how do I know my numbers? What should I do, mate? That's all well and good. Easy said than done. So because of that, I've put a free nutrition blueprint in my bio. Nothing fancy, nothing magical. It's just a simple way of working out your calories and how I do it for my clients and how to adjust them. That's free. Go and grab that so you can work out your numbers, because that is going to be 90% of it. So we've covered the calories and the nutrition side of things to a very basic standard. What about the training? Like I said, we want to get stronger. If you're going to lift light weights and you're going to eat less food, what do you think is going to happen to your muscle as a long-term adaptation? It's probably going to shrink muscle, right? I'm saying this from experience. I've done it twice. I did my first bulk, you know, kind of didn't do very good with it. I gained a bit of muscle, figured out how to do it properly, gained a lot more muscle, and I ended up being a little bit fatter than I wanted. So I thought, right, time to go on a cut. Drop my calories right down. I think I went from like 4,000 calories a day to like 1,500. 3 days in, I felt like shit. My performance and recovery was absolutely whack. And I started to crave foods that I don't even like just because I was so hungry. But I stuck at it because I was really stubborn and I wanted to get shredded, and I did not like having moobs and lower back fat. Fast forward a little while, I did eventually get pretty lean, but I looked like shit, I felt like shit, it was genuinely horrible. My mentality was out of whack. But the worst part was I pretty much lost about 60 to 70% of the muscle mass that I had. I just shrunk, and I thought, I am not doing that again. So I went straight back onto a bulk, and guess what? I did it again because I made the same mistake. I went on a bulk, saw fat I didn't like, jumped on a cut, didn't know what I was doing, and basically got stuck in that bro cycle of bouncing between cuts and bulks. So the third time I did it, I managed to do it very successfully, and I focused on getting stronger, keeping my strength, giving my body a reason to keep the muscle that I've gained. And if you're brand new, like I said at the start, and you haven't already had your newbie gains, that level of stimulus paired with your calories not being too low and a high amount of protein, you're still likely to gain muscle. I'll use Reese again as an example. He's a perfect textbook example of a recomposition. This is 12 months, not 12 weeks. I'm not going to bullshit you. Of course, there's no drugs, no steroids. There wasn't even multivitamins on this, but this was pure strength training and slight calorie deficit with reviewing and adjusting each week with progressive overload, and anytime you hit a plateau we just made an adjustment. But as you can see, the reason I'm using him as a good example is he was able to gain a crap ton of muscle whilst being in a deficit the whole time. And fun fact, he actually weighs more in the photo where he's lean with the muscle than he did at the start. He lost body fat, lost weight, and continues to gain muscle in a deficit purely based on the training and adaptation that we went through. But you know, you're watching this because you want 12 weeks. So here's my client Matt. He was able to lose his belly and gain a little bit of muscle around his chest and arms within 12 weeks. So my client Leon, 11 weeks, he was able to drop body fat, bring up the thickness and fullness in his shoulders and arms. And my client Ross, he was able to get his abs coming in a little bit more, grow a little bit of his arms, and lose body fat around his midsection. 12 weeks again. So training with strength and having a slight calorie deficit is going to be the best way to go about it. Now, you might be also thinking, well, what about cardio, mate? Should I do cardio? And the answer is yeah. If you want to do an extra bit of cardio so that you don't go over your calories because you are working with a smaller deficit, it's going to be very helpful. But what I would advise you don't do is doing too much cardio and not enough resistance training. Again, think about it. If you want to gain muscle and you want to get leaner and you're doing like 90% cardio and 10% resistance, why would your body gain muscle? It's just not going to happen. If you keep fitness really simple, everything's about adaptation. You train, lift heavy weights and break down muscle tissue, you go to sleep and you get your protein in, you're going to gain some muscle, right? If you're going for like sprints and running and you're not getting enough protein and you're barely touching weights, you'll get lean, but you'll also be very thin and aerodynamic, basically. So you have to train according to your goal. Now, of course, I'm just oversimplifying it for the sake of this video because no one wants to watch a 2-hour documentary on losing body fat and gaining muscle. Is quite boring, right? But just to recap the basics, if you're in a slight calorie deficit with high protein and you're training frequently throughout the week and getting stronger with resistance workouts, sprinkling in a bit of cardio, good sleep, quality recovery, and a lot of consistency with some form of advancement or progressive overload each week, then you're certainly going to lose body fat and gain muscle like my clients have. Now, if you've been trying to lose body fat and gain muscle for a little while, or maybe you just need to get it done for a wedding or a holiday, or it's something that's very important to you right now, you can always drop me a message at Elite Transformation Project on Instagram, or you can leave a comment on this video right here. And if you really just want to cut the line and get straight to work, I do only do one-to-one coaching with my clients. That way it's going to be the fastest way possible for you. At the point of recording this, I can't guarantee I even have any client spaces, so just drop me a message, and if I have a space, I can jump on a call and have a chat with you. If you have any questions, as always, drop them in the comments or message me on Instagram. Like and subscribe and all that stuff.